Hey, welcome back to the 30K challenge. For those of you that didn't see the niching video, make sure you watch that on my YouTube. For those of you that are a part of the Natural Born Storyteller community, make sure you go in and look at the additional videos and the worksheets, because this video works congruent with niching down. Niching down, like I can tell you now, getting your niche right and getting your offer right will literally change the course of your life, will change the absolute path of your business. It can really, really bring in overnight success if you have the right demographic and the right offer. If you can dial them two things in, you are ready to rock and roll. And today what I want to talk about is creating is helping you think about your current offer, and maybe this video will spark some inspiration and show you how to develop a better offer. And first I want to talk to you about being a commodity. So commodity is sort of the first part of this presentation where I want to talk about. And what is a commodity? A commodity is someone that's just selling sort of pixels and waveforms, being a human tripod, someone that's actually selling just day rates. And if you look at this particular example, like if you've got two apples and they're both identical and one's 30K, one's 2K, of course you're going to take the 2K. So if you're offering things like day rates and you're offering just stock standard sort of, here's the camera you can choose, here's the lens you can choose, here's what my color grading thing is, then you're easily replaceable. And so what do you need to look at if you know you've got a bad offer? If you've got a bad offer, what you're going to find is that your price as a point of separation. So your price either is coming down cheaper and saying, oh, I can do it for this rate, I can do it for cheaper. And most sort of, particularly freelancers, that will charge around 2K for the day. And they'll just say, I'll do it for 1,500, and that's your point of separation. Clients, you'll be able to sense that they just don't really trust you. Being a commodity is obviously you just can feel that. You don't believe in what you're doing. That's the other thing. Or you hate your work. That's a really good symptom as well. And then low conversion rates. And just seen as a bunch of deliverables. And just constantly giving stuff away for like just to get anything across the line, if that's how you feel. In terms of if that's how you feel, is all you can actually offer is just price. So here's an example of a pretty bad offer, and I'm not saying that it's bad, but it's very hard to, if you're struggling right now and you can get this, it's great, but like, the truth is you can't scale with this. You can, but you're going to have 100 people working for you, and it's just really, really driving the market down. Like, this is just bad for the industry, like just doing these cheap sort of deals. There's all this editing involved and things like that involved, and I just can't see how you can scale something like that. And so what is actually a commodity? And this is probably one of the ways that I can describe it. Like, you imagine an iPhone or a phone, for instance, and some guy's just selling parts of the phone, and you got to put it all together yourself. What we really, really want is the actual phone. We want the GPS. We want the note-taking ability. We want to be able to communicate with the world. That's what we really want. We want the camera. We want everything already packaged up and ready to rock and roll. So what is the solution? When it comes to your video business, I believe the solution is creativity. It's creative direction. It's giving the client a sense of where to go, adding value through narrative, adding value through storytelling. That is truly what brands want. They don't want just another video. They want the video to be a vehicle to do something for them. And so I'm going to lean into this example here of, I think these guys are called Harmon Brothers, and they created this campaign, and you can see through this. I'm going to play it for you. I'm just going to play parts of it. Just give me a second. But you can see through this campaign, and where do you see the results? I'll get to them in a second, but you can see that they have led with the creative in mind. And so I'll just play this.
This is where your ice cream comes from. Creamy poop of a mystic unicorn. Totally clean, totally cool, and soft served straight from a sphincter. They're good at pooping. But you know who sucks at pooping? You do. That's because when you sit on a porcelain throne,
I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but you should watch it. It's hilariously funny, and the results speak for themselves. Let's have a look at the results. Okay, results. $100 million in revenue for this particular brand, Squatty Potty, right? They had 66 million views and 1 million Facebook shares in just 4 months. You can't even buy that traffic. This is how good it is. And like, they've gone down the route of comedy, right? Of making things fun and just hilariously fun. But they've brought a tremendous amount of value to this brand by bringing the creative in mind. And I'm just going to show you a different type of video, but again, they showed creativity. So I'm going to play this. This is more of a humanizing brand, but I'll play this for you as well, just to show you 2 different types.
I can't imagine the loss of the family farm in Australia. It tears the heart out of me when I know we're competing against countries who don't take the same care in producing food.
The frozen berry health scandal has deepened, with even more products pulled from shelves.
The problem with so many products on our supermarket shelves is actually finding where the food came from.
For too long, people have been talking about country of origin labelling, and nothing much has changed.
While the nation debated, Australia's largest fruit processor went to the heart of the issue, the labelling, and overhauled their iconic SPC, Goulburn Valley and Udmona brands with a heartwarming initiative called My Family Can. We dedicated their most valuable real estate to farming families and developed emotional content Australians could relate to.
I'm sitting here right now, my 86-year-old mother.
So I'm not going to play.
She's worked like that all her life.
I'm not going to play anymore, but what you can see here that's going on is that there is some kind of creative direction. And this is where a lot of freelancers and video businesses go wrong. They get trapped in this ideology of just selling a day rate and just selling editing services, when the true value is sitting in the creative. If you can lead the client or the brand with your creative mechanism or your creative methodology in some way, shape or form and get results like this. I mean, can you imagine what these guys now can charge for a video? $100 million in revenue from this ad. And this is what they, and can you imagine it? Can you imagine a brand, would they or would they not want to hire this agency versus the person that's just going, my day rate's 2K, or my editing services are this, or my color grading is this, or I can put sound design on this. This is where you're going to get out of that trap in terms of commodity. You're going to lead the client through creative. Now, there's obviously different ways you can package it, but where I can see offers being really, really good and really, really effective is when you actually dial in a niche. Because, look, it's very hard to come out the gate swinging and getting these kind of results straight off the bat, particularly if you're sort of a couple of years in, you're still developing your skills and everything in between. But where you can make sort of a racket or noise is when you say that you specialize, and this is why specialization is really good. This is a great example of an offer, and this is for speakers and coaches. And you can see that they've really dialed it in. So they've got a brand starter, brand starter, then they've got brand growth, then the brand elite. And they're all different types of things. But what they are doing is they're pretty much setting up a client sales acquisition infrastructure. So they're selling everything in terms of, now you may be saying to me, I'm a purist, I'm a cinematographer, and I get that. I completely understand that. This is where you would lean into more of this stuff. However, if you're just starting out, you can lean into strategy, which is where you take a client from where they are now to where they want to be, and then you figure out a way that you can add value. Being through, which I believe is only 2 ways. One is the creative, and 2, the strategy. Now, when you combine these 2 things together, that's when you have a pretty good offer. This is another one that I want to bring to your attention to, which is for those of you that are still developing your skills, but you can actually offer building out a brand's content infrastructure. Now, one of the biggest pain points that I see with a lot of brands is that they don't know how to manage their content. And one of the things they have is a lack of time, lack of creative direction, and lack of freedom. That's a major problem for them. And so you can implement this by placing a trained and onboard 2 editors that are owned by the actual brand. So you could actually go out and source an editor and actually give it to the brand, and then you can consist monthly content, both long and short But what you do in terms of getting that client, you set them up by giving them an editor and maybe a DP and maybe even a social media manager, and you can charge them $15K. And then what you do is you run it through your agency as the creative direction. So you give them all the creatives and you instruct the editor and the cameraman on how to produce long form and short form content. And this is just a little bit of thinking outside the box. This is a very, very scalable offer, because if you think about it, all you're doing is you're placing them with the editor and the cameraman. What they really want, or what the brand truly wants, is the creative direction, and that's where you can give them the ideation, the concepts, and then hand it in. It's about creating a grandfather offer. Now, that's just an example, so don't get too locked up in that. For those of you who are part of Clout, 3.0 is getting actually developed, and we're going to be developing offers like this so that we can actually scale up your business to 100K. But for those of you just watching this, don't get lost up in this. Mainly where I want you to bring your attention to, for those of you on YouTube, is really looking at how can you be more creative, and on the same hand, be a little bit more strategic. And what else can you do for them that's maybe missing some gaps if you're not that creative? You want to lean more into the strategy side of things. And there's many ways you can do it. But the idea is to create a grandfather offer. And these are the key elements of an offer. And I call it freedom. So giving them more freedom, giving them more time, and getting them more money. These are the three core areas of a really good, they're the foundation of an amazing offer. So let's go down here and talk a little bit more about how we can get to it. So if you have a niche, which you should have a niche, and you can look through all the areas of their sort of problems that they have. So there's marketing. So you could offer social media content, long form and short form. HR, they could be having problems around HR. And then you could create sort of an impact story around their employees, of what it's like to work there, how it's changed their life, how they love being a part of a team, how they get to innovate, etc., etc. Admin could be internal training. That's going to save them tons of time in terms of, like, if we look at the three big foundational pillars of value, which is time, money, and offer. So marketing would be money. HR would be, again, time. Internal would be a bit of freedom, because it gives them freedom so they can just give them training videos. Conversion, which is sales, a conversion issue, which is again marketing, but you could do a video sales letter, and you could run ad campaigns for them every 2 weeks on things like YouTube and Insta, which is a really good retainer model. You could move them into a story partnership. For those of you who are part of Clout Academy, we show you how to develop story partnerships, and also the natural, we're also going to be releasing in the Natural Bond storyteller community some different types of offers on how to get people into more of an embedded sort of retainer model. We call them story partnerships. Trust, impact stories. These are high-level testimonials, particularly for some of you older school DPs that are highly creative, know how to move that camera, know how to color grade, know how to do. You can literally create these mini sort of movies in the eyes of the customer. This is a really good creative mechanism to offer every brand. I think every single niche would need some kind of impact story. I don't care if you're a barber, I don't care if you're a mechanic, a construction worker, lawyer, whatever your chosen niche is. Everybody needs to feel what it's like using that service. Sales, brand stories are a phenomenal way to sort of build an emotional connection, raise the perceived value, and also build trust and help move the sale along. Particularly if you're putting these sort of branded assets inside the client's acquisition infrastructure. So where that customer journey is, and we're going to talk about that in just a second, and delivery. So customer journey videos. Okay, so one of the best ways to actually come to an offer is to understand I go straight to sales. For me, it's like if I can help them get more sales or get more revenue, I know I'm going to get a premium budget. Like I'll always get a premium budget if I can help make the client money. Well, there's only sort of three ways to branding or to help a company sort of own market share, and that is through awareness. So if you look at awareness is like when people are scrolling through, and if we as filmmakers use the example of, say, DJI releases a new drone, the first thing we're going to see is because we're following their page, they make us aware of it. New drones come out. Okay, cool. Now what's the second part that we're going to do? Well, we're going to go into consideration. We're going to look at that drone and see if it's going to be a good part of our toolkit, right? And so we'll start looking at reviews. That's us in consideration, in the buying cycle, in our own mind, how we buy stuff. So first we're made aware of it, then we go into consideration, and now we're on DGI deciding whether we're actually going to buy. That would be like a sort of sales video with a buy now button, order it now, be the next 10 to order, and that would be sort of a customer journey. Well, where can you start to build out offers, or where can you help build your client's sales acquisition funnel or customer journey in awareness, consideration, and decision? So awareness could be ads that you run every two weeks. Consideration could be all the branded content, the impact stories, the things where people are actually wanting to get reviews and that kind of stuff, like a case study, like a vlog, or kind of high-level testimonials, them kind of things that put trust and safety into the product or service they're selling. And then how can you create a sort of a high-impact sort of conversion piece, or what we call a video sales letter, that sits right underneath it, sits the buy now button that helps that company generate money. And this is all ideas on how we can put a pack or a campaign together, or we can put a big offer together that actually helps your client make money. And this is, for me, the secret sauce. This is where everything changed for me. When I stopped just selling day rates and saying, yes, you can have me for the day and I'll just do whatever you want me to do, and then they just pay me $2,000, and then some days I won't even get that, and I'd have to put it down to $1,000 a day. It's like, it's because I'm not really adding any value to that brand. And so I decided to create brand stories. My thing was brand stories, do a high-level cinematic sort of brand story for would be around sort of a minute to 5 minutes long. And it would be typically around the why of a company, or the fight of a company, or the contribution of a company. And it would be like this highly emotional engaged thing that they would use as a centerpiece. And then from there, I would move them into a story partnership where I would do short form, long form. I would do impact stories. I would do branded series. And I would move them into a month-to-month charge. And that, for them, was amazing because their brand's voice was consistent with everything that I was doing with them. And they were getting sales because I was making sure that these branded videos were all fitting inside of their actual customer journey. So it was moving the sale forward. It was helping them get their time back. And plus, I'm managing their full content infrastructure as well, so they don't have to think. When you can take away someone's thinking, you can actually add a tremendous amount of value through the creative direction, and then you do it all for them. This is a pretty good offer. Now, building your offer, you want to consider some of these things. So you want to make sure that you've got a value stack in there, which is like, multiple videos for multiple things can be very good, particularly if you're just starting out and your creative sucks. And you this is really good for strategy. So you can do like 5 testimonial talking heads, and then you could, do some short form, long form, and then you could do a branded story or whatever but you want to value stack it up. You want to have a guarantee. Guarantees were always internal for me. Guarantees were great because I used to always say to my team, we're not stopping until the client's happy. So we wouldn't stop. I mean, a lot of the times, even the client would be happy and I still wouldn't be happy, and I'd just keep going because I just genuinely loved what I was doing and wanted it to be amazing. Unique mechanism for me was about humanizing a brand. I was really into, so if I showed you them two examples, one was comedy, one I would consider humanizing, more emotional, more serious. That was more my unique mechanism. But develop one for yourself. If you can find a genre within a niche, this can really stand out. Having a unique mechanism is what is going to make you absolutely unique, and because it's your creative IP, your intellectual property. So having that is really important. And then having limited availability. Far too many cinematographers, video agencies are far too available, working around, going, yes, I can do it this day, I can do it that day. I used to always tell my clients I only ever do 10 brand stories per year, and I only ever did 24 story partnerships. So I was very limited in my time. I didn't just say, yeah, I can do it whenever you want. I used to actually book them in advance, and this is really important, particularly around Christmas and around sort of the low seasons. Make sure you're booking people in and just letting them know that you have limited availability. Again, it just puts you in that more of a prize position. And especially if you've got a unique mechanism. especially if you've got a unique methodology, a different way of approaching stuff that is kind of a genre, it's a theme, and you're niched down and you're really solving problems and helping them reach their goals, like more money, more time, more freedom. Again, all roads lead to them three things. And so just moving in as well, you want to make things easy to work with. So, you know, simplicity is key. You want to make sure that you're using high quality cameras. Obviously, quality is great. The more cinematic things are, the better they're gonna love it. They want to feel like they've got good value, even though you may think 30K plus is a lot of money. I mean, what do you think these guys are charging that are generating $100 million in revenue? I think Harmon Brothers don't take anyone on less than a couple of hundred. I don't know for sure, so I don't want to quote them, but I know that they're quite expensive to work with, and so they should be. Look at that result. It's insane. You couldn't even buy 66 million views and 1 million Facebook shares in just 4 months. These guys are incredible, and they're super creative, and they're adding a lot of value. So yeah, you want to make sure it's good value. You want to make sure you have fast and speed. And the more you actually do get your offer dialed in, and it's an offer dialed into a specific niche, this is where you can build out delivery processes. This is how you can get things out much quicker when you do it. And so I mentioned in another video about the offer feedback loop. This is really, really important because a lot of people don't take stock of this. And this is, for me, how I built mine out. Is you go out, you make an actual sale. You start there, you do that based on assumption. You create an offer that you think based on research and based on assumption. You go out, you make an offer, you make a sale, then you deliver the campaign or you deliver the goods, and then you collect insights and feedback. And this is where you document, you document that. And then when you go back to the offer, you can refine the offer and find out where it failed, where it won. And then what we're doing here is we're dialing in the offer so it becomes even better. And if you keep on this trajectory of constantly getting insights, feedback, and then refining, make a sale, deliver, insights, refine, it just gets better and better and better and better and better and better until you've absolutely dialed it in. And specifically if you do it to a niche, what will tend to happen if you've got a dialed in offer is you're now becoming an order taker, which means people are lining up to work with you. You become the prize. You'll be able to feel how they're talking to you is completely different because you have something that they want. We want them to want you more than you want them. And then you deliver results and you give them a clear ROI. And this is when you can start collecting things like case studies and start putting out more content, building out your clout, your social market value, raising your perceived value, and you can get more and more expensive. And it's unique to you. This is when you know that you're fully dialed in. Okay, and the results of this is that you will get 30K budgets. You'll probably get a lot more than that. And for some of the older school guys watching this, they would know that 100K plus would not be hard to get if you can get the right offer right and you know you're helping them make money, especially if you're making this sort of money. 100 million. It's crazy. So, and video has the creative is the variable. You think that they would have got the result without this creative? No way. So you can build a repeatable delivery system once you've got your offer dialed in. You've got happier clients. You're a one-stop shop. You're turning clients into raving fans. And if you're part of the Natural Born Storyteller community, we're actually releasing a referral system that will be really powerful for you guys. You can charge a premium as well. You'll know that you're charging a premium. These 30K budgets, you'll just feel like you can charge. It reinforces your belief. And if you watch one of my very first videos, belief is actually directly tied to your confidence. Your confidence is directly tied to your bank account. I mean, the only other thing that's sort of directly tied to your bank account is your calendar. But without belief and confidence, you've got nothing. And then you have fulfillment through delivery is just amazing. And that's it. So I hope this, for those of you watching on YouTube, I hope that this has given you some ideas or some inspiration around your offer and maybe how to shift your thinking in terms of like strategy and creativity. And if you are watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button, like the video, comment. It really helps the channel grow and it helps many other video businesses and filmmakers like yourself just do better. I'm trying to help 1,000 filmmakers this year coming up in 2024, and I'm really trying to build this YouTube channel out. For those of you who are not a part of the Natural Born Storytellers, in the description below, hit the link and it will let you through. It's only $49 $49 a week. You spend more on an Uber. I spend more on Uber throughout the week than $49. So it's really priced really well. And it will give you access to way more information about how to develop your offer, and it can actually change your life. And we're running a 30K challenge inside. I mean, this is what part of it is. But thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.